All right.
Boy, I messed up the introduction there. Boy, I went to work extra hard on that last night.
Did you?
But there it is. Rev up the power with Reverend Jeff Powers joining us. Good to see you, my friend.
Good. Thanks for having me.
You bet. You want me to send that to y'all's congregation? Y'all can
Would you please? As I said, that needs to be on the screen before every sermon now, I think. It's,
Yeah, it worked. Look, one more quick hit. We'll make it real quick here. There you go.
There you go. All right.
I'd like that. That needs to be played on a Sunday morning.
I think so. Kind of set the expectation for the sermon that what's coming.
Well, good to see you. We are here. Welcome in, everybody, as we get started on a Faithful Friday. Billy Cawthon is out today. Reverend Jeff Powers of Christ the King Methodist Church hanging out with us today. And we want to get started and say thank you to Elliot Herzlich from Elliot's Jewelers. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com for all of your jewelry needs. Go by and see my great friend Elliot. And we are here on this episode 637.
Wow.
637 as we continue to put the pedal to the metal. Again, big thank you as well to Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. They are our Friday Foundation sponsor. And one reason we wanted to have Reverend Powers on this morning is Billy goes to church at Christ the King. And we've partnered on a few things here at First with you guys. But Reverend Powers, how you doing, my friend? It's great to see you.
It's great to be here. We're doing great. It's been almost 2 years since we moved up to Huntsville, and it's just been absolutely wonderful. Obviously, we love our church, but one of the reasons we wanted to relocate out here was we learned very quickly it's very easy to make friends in Huntsville.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's friendly and kind here, and have come to really enjoy just leaning into the community and getting to know folks.
Yeah, well, we're Billy. You know, Billy introduced you to me probably a couple when you got here, I guess. You came on the show with us.
I did, before we'd actually moved into our house.
Yes, sir, yeah. So it's been a while. It's good to have you back. And you and I have developed a friendship, and we share a similar sense of humor, so I knew. See, I wouldn't do that intro with just anybody.
Oh, good.
But I knew that Jeff Powers would be okay with that. And
absolutely.
I got to be careful because I know a guy in Austin named Jeff Power.
Oh,
and so when I did that graphic, I sent it to Billy, and he said there's an S on the end of it. And I said, yeah, I knew that. So.
Oh, okay. You know, when I was at the University of Houston a long time ago, there was another student named Jeff Powers. I never met him, but based on the phone calls that I would get at 2 and 3 in the morning, he had a great time because I got a lot of his calls on the dorms. This is before cell phones.
Do you and your wife, do y'all have a son?
We have a daughter and a son.
Okay.
Our daughter, Christy, is up in Rapid City, South Dakota, and she and her husband, Garrett, and our 3 grandkids. Garrett flies the B-1 bomber.
Oh, wow.
And Rapid City is one of the few places you can land a B-1 bomber.
Yeah.
And so then we have a son, John. John passed away in 2018. He had courageously fought a very rare disease, and he was 26 when he passed away.
Yes, sir.
So,
well, you've shared that. You know, I just appreciate you. You know, you and your family and your wife and daughter, and y'all are just tremendous people. You know, like I said earlier, we always do a little prayer before we come on, and
sure. And
I said, you know, what a blessing it is to have y'all here in Huntsville, and this community is all about lifting up and supporting each other.
It
and
is.
I need to get back to Rotary, but I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to hang out with you. And you and I, like I said, we share a similar sense of humor. You know,
I think we do. We probably don't need to always sit at the same table.
Yes, sir.
Would be my guess.
I was joking with you one time, and I said, you know, my code name is Max Powers.
Max Powers, yes.
when I go bowling, I put that came from a Simpsons episode.
Oh, okay,
ago.
okay. Yeah. Love the Simpsons.
Well, you guys have been, you know, locked in now for about 2 years or so.
Yeah.
What's the journey been like for you?
It's been exciting. You know, the first year was kind of a get-to-know-you year, but also it was a formative year for our church to kind of, you know, organize and get our different ministry teams in place. And really, we're starting to kind of discover who it is that Christ has called us to be and what kind of work he wants us to do. So it's been quite a journey. And, you know, you can always tell what a church is called to do when your congregation gets excited about something.
Sure, yeah.
You know, sometimes on church staffs, you have to get the congregation excited to do something. Then there are other times the church just jumps into it.
That's it, yeah.
And we have discovered a passion for feeding hungry people in Huntsville, and not just food drives, but actually going out to places where people are hungry and cooking up some hot dogs and feeding them to them. And
You're speaking my language, Reverend.
and our biggest challenge is we have more people that want to do it than we have to find more places.
Yeah.
And so it looks like Christ the King has found its passion, its calling, and we're excited about that.
I love that. And one other thing that you guys are very involved with that I saw, we had him on the show out of Willis, I believe it was. Right when we first started, was the Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Oh, that's been amazing.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that ministry.
So Sleep in Heavenly Peace is it's a national organization and representatives for them. We learned that there are some 400 children that don't have beds to sleep in Walker County, and just felt like that's just really unacceptable. And someone mentioned Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and Zach and Kelsey Allensworth went out to their training and brought it back. And the way it works is any group that wants to do a build and maybe build about 10 beds, we have all the tools, we have all the wood, we have everything need to build. You send your team over, we teach you how to build them, and y'all can knock out 10 or 20 beds in a few hours, depending on how many people. And then we deliver them directly to those families. And it's a great way for a company or a community organization to make a meaningful impact in people's lives. And because we're Methodist, if you build on our church site, we'll probably feed you, because we kind of do that.
Well, perfect. Well, we'll have to be. I'll come there as an overseer.
Come over there as an overseer, and it's about $250 a bed for the materials. And so we would say to, like, if Rotary wanted to come out and build 10 beds, they would provide the $2,500. It's a great team building, a great fellowship experience, and we're knocking a lot of beds out. A lot of kids have beds that didn't have them a year ago.
Yeah, that's something that when they came on the show, and talked about this before you guys had started, here in Walker County with them, the representative they had was telling me about the seriousness of children not having a place to sleep, and that doesn't necessarily mean they don't have a home, but that means some of these kids are sleeping on mattresses on the floor.
Absolutely,
and that's not fair. And
no.
So y'all have identified that need, stepped up, and I see the photos, and it happens right here in Huntsville too, unfortunately. But y'all sure are answering such a great call and doing that.
Well, thank you. That's another one of those ministries that the church got so excited that we just got it started and got out of the way, and the church just runs with it. And it's not just the church. Mm-hmm. We've got groups from Sam Houston. Entergy has come out. The Sam Houston baseball team has been out to build beds. All kinds of people just excited to come out and do that.
How did the journey to Huntsville, where did the connection happen? Somebody picked up a phone probably and said, hey, come on, check it out, or were you looking? How did that?
I wasn't looking, but it was an opportunity. Huntsville, they were looking for their next pastor, and we were available, and so we looked at it. In fact, I was kind of coming to the end of the pastoral ministry career and was serious. I was actually seriously looking at changing my ministry. I was going to be a spiritual director for a hospice group.
Really?
And parish ministry can be tiring. And we had kind of said, let's try that. And they went out to go talk to Huntsville, and I thought, I already have a job lined up, so I'm just going to be myself. If they offer me the job, that's great. If they don't, I've already, got something to do. And
crack a few jokes.
They
would tell them to not hire you.
I mean, I did everything I could. But what ended up happening was, so Julie came with me, and I had asked, could you have some of the ladies in the church to meet Julie so that she could, get to know, because, the church is interviewing us, but we're interviewing the church too. Well, they weren't able to pull off getting some ladies together, so Julie actually got to be interviewed with me. So we're sitting together in my job interview, and that hour and a half or so we were there, just a lot of laughter, and we got in the car to drive back. We were coming from the Woodlands, and I said, I think I'm in love with these people. And we just kind of changed direction just because it really is a wonderful, spirit-filled group of people trying to do God's will, and it's been a love fest since we got there.
Yeah.
It's really been nice.
Y'all are at a beautiful place over there, too, at Magnolia Lakes.
Yeah.
We used to have our Rotary events out there.
Yes, you did. You had Wine Quest out
Yes,
there.
sir.
We can't do that anymore.
Well, hey, there's still there's a stash. No, I'm just
I know, but I'd have to turn the cameras off on campus, and we could try that somewhere.
the master switch as you come in. There's no master switch. Trust us, there's no master switch. It's such a joy again to have you here this morning, Reverend Powers, and like I said, we're so thankful to have you and your family here. Julie's watching this morning. She said hello.
Yes, she
already
is. Oh, good.
today. So it's always great.
You may want to bring her on and give her equal time. I'm just saying.
We'll have to do that sometime. Yeah. Well, y'all have experienced some great growth. I mean, let's move outside of the church setting and just kind of talk Huntsville for a minute. What really drew you in? I know you always mention the people, but what were some other things that just made you really enjoy Huntsville and continue to?
Coming into I love how the town turns out for all the events.
Mm-hmm.
With a football game, a basketball game.
The monthly parade.
The monthly parade.
I've never been in a community where there's so many parades.
They do have. We do like our parades in Huntsville.
We're actually starting an event called a Parade for Parades.
The Parade
the
for
Parade of
Parades.
Parades. Yeah,
that's right. There's still a sense of town and community here.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
sure.
I don't want to say small town because we're not really a small town, but we have that intimacy here as a connection. Like the fellowship among the churches. There's no. I don't get a sense of competition among the churches. I think we all see we're in ministry together, and that's very refreshing. I don't know if you've ever seen the church community in the Woodlands, but that is church on an industrialized scale. I mean, they build some big churches out there.
Yeah, and they're like right there.
Right.
Down,
they are. And they're great churches with great ministries. Here, there's just a friendliness and an eagerness to get along among the churches that we like. We've moved into Elkins. My wife is a retired teacher, and she likes to golf. And so that works out really well for us, and she hadn't been able to. She just had rotator cuff surgery, but she's going to be back out there. And we actually, when we moved out here, decided when I finish parish ministry here, or the church finishes with me, whichever comes first, we're going to stay. We're going to retire here, And usually Methodists, we up and move. So I've had to warn people, y'all best be nice to us because we're not leaving. You're going to see me at Brookshire's. So anyway, it's home for us now.
Oh, that's
it's
great.
home for us, and we love it.
Well, one last thing. We have Terry Coleman here, our real estate expert, will be joining us in just a few moments. One last thing I wanted to mention. You mentioned the collaboration with other churches. We held an event here after the floods, and you were so gracious to call us and say, I heard y'all are doing something. Let's not reinvent the wheel. And y'all time and time again have partnered. I think, is it Winnie Sandals? She go to y'all's church?
Oh, yeah. Winnie goes to our church.
She comes to our National Day of Prayer meeting. Y'all have always stepped up and supported that initiative as well. That collaboration is so important. And I kind of, I joke with folks, but I'm serious, I guess, in a way, too. I kind of feel like you guys are our sister church in a way, And
we feel honored to hear that.
I think that it's so neat to be able to collaborate and work together. Maybe expand on that a little bit because, we are one church body, and you're right. Sometimes in a ministry, there's this sense of competition. And I always tell people this, that the only thing that we should be competing against is winning souls for Jesus Christ.
Agreed.
That should be the only thing that we should be competing with.
Yeah.
And you all kind of live that mantra. Maybe expand on that a little bit.
Well, my feeling is that, every church is called to ministry. There are some things that First Baptist Church that we at Christ the King could not do. For example,
and versa.
Your leadership in the flood. Right? So what we do with a church our size is we try to find those places that sometimes get overlooked. And, Mother Teresa had said, do small things with great love. And so, for example, when we formed a relationship with the housing community off of MLK, said, we feel called to feed hungry people. We'd like to come out the last Saturday of every month, cook up some hot dogs, and because it's the end of the month.
Sure, yeah.
There's always more month than money at the end of the month. And as we're talking about, I said, is there anything else that we can do for you? And she said, yes. We have about 30 senior citizens that only get about $20 a month in food stamp support.
Wow.
And we were talking, and she said, if they could just get a bag of groceries once a month with maybe a pound of meat and milk and all that, well, 26 families, it's 26 families a month. First Baptist Church could do that in their sleep. But for us, that takes a little effort. But it makes a huge difference to those 26 families.
Yeah.
And so just yesterday, Thursday, we were out there, and we've been doing it almost every month for a year. The middle of the month, we drop off a bag with milk, butter, eggs, meat, bread. We threw in some stuffing and cranberry. So I think if every church says, where can we serve, where can we plug in? In fact, if every church could, like we called you because we wanted to be the church that says, what's the position you can't fill, we'll fill it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where are you having a hard time, call up Safe House and say, we don't want to just show up. Where do you have trouble finding volunteers? We want to volunteer there.
Yeah, that's good.
And so that's kind of our feeling, our thinking behind that.
I love that, Reverend. That's great. And you said something so important that if you don't have to do things on a massive scale. And I think sometimes it's human nature to want to grow and to do things.
Right.
But also growing is to die. So you got to be careful
That's exactly
in some ways.
right. That's exactly right.
You can grow so much that eventually, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I love growth, but I also am reminded in the Bible that Jesus came for the one. And I was taught, and each of us individually are the one. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking the other day that, I hear of people all the time saying, well, I led 20 people to Christ, and or I led this person, and I'm so thankful. I rejoice when I hear that. I said, praise the Lord for that. That's great. But then you always want to self-reflect, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, man, how many have I led to the Lord? And I learned sometimes, in life, we're just called to plant seeds. Yes, we're called to be disciples, but the other day I had someone come up to me and they said, you told me something that helped put me on the right path and grow into a relationship with the Lord and come into a relationship with the Lord, even though I didn't lead him through the whole process. And in that moment, I feel like the Holy Spirit talked to me and said, if that was the one person that you were called to lead your entire life, then you've done the work because the angels are rejoicing. True. And I think sometimes, I beat my own self up. And I want to encourage people this morning that maybe you're in that same boat. You hear the stories and you feel like, well, man, I'm not really making an impact. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Know that if you're doing what God's calling you to do, then you're doing what he's calling you to do. Don't try to overthink it.
I think the following a calling means simply be available for use. And, for example, what I know about your story is such a testimony to simple faith. You needed to find a way to make a living and to reach the community, and you started this. It started with an idea, and you just took the next step and the next step and the next step. You just telling your story is going to inspire somebody else that has an idea and doesn't know where to begin to realize, if Rob can do that, maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe they call you and say, how did you start? When it got hard, your testimony, the way you live life, the way we as followers of Jesus, not perfectly. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other is
nowhere
not
near.
Perfectly. Fall down, get up, start over. That's faith. And I think that's a witness.
They'll say, how did you do it when times got hard? I said, well, I just ran up the credit card,
Well, there you go.
and I'm reminded of what my friend Joshua Harris, Oak Ridge Disciple, I say, says, everything that we have, the Lord has given us to give to others. And I said, well, here's my debt. Take it.
There you go. There you go.
that part of it hasn't worked yet. So. Well, Reverend, we'll continue the discussion again. It's Reverend Jeff Power sitting in with us today for Billy Cawthon, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, but Reverend is here with Christ the King Methodist Church. We'll talk more in a little bit, but for now, we'll step aside. We'll take a break. Our real estate expert, the real estate extraordinaire, Terry Coleman, will be joining us when we come back. Continue to let us know that you're out there. Do us a favor, too, and let us know that you're out there today. Many of you are commenting in, and most importantly, let us know what you're thankful for today as we wrap up a great week with rain in the forecast, and Lord knows we need it, and we will welcome it with open arms. We'll take a break. More to come as we continue on. It's your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville on a Faithful Friday, brought to you by Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. Stay with us, please.
Hey friends, this is Rob Hip, and I'm here to talk about a true expert in the real estate world. Let me introduce you to my good friend group.
With 33 years in business, I've dedicated my life to making your real estate dreams come true. Specializing in residential properties, I serve Walker and Montgomery counties, from Spring to Trinity and areas all around.
They call her your next door agent, and here's why.
I'm not just here to help you find a home or lease a property. I'm here to build lifelong relationships. Whether it's residential or commercial, farm or ranch listings, there's something for everyone.
Now you might wonder, what sets Terry apart from other real estate agents? Well, it's simple. She goes above and beyond for her clients, like the time she surprised a family from California with a fully decorated Christmas tree and gifts when they returned from closing. You shouldn't have to compromise on the joys of home during life-changing moments. So, if you're ready to make your real estate dreams come true, here's what you need to do.
Visit my website at myrealtorterry.com and let's make those dreams a reality.
That's Terry Coleman, your expert in all things real estate.
I'm Terry Coleman, your next door agent, and I can't wait to help you open the door to your new life.
Hey friends, Rob Hip, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well, friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas. This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Billy Coffin of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
Hi, I'm Pam. I'm thankful for my family, Jesus, my friends, my church, my school, all of the blessings the Lord has given me.
What are you thankful for? Email your Thanksgiving greeting to victory@spiritradio.fm.
Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit 94.3.
All right, welcome back at it as we continue revving up the lawnmower this morning here on. I'm gonna start saying rev up on everything. Rev it up, like old Toby Keith said. Turn it up some. I'm gonna start saying rev it up some. We do have a motorcycle club showing up a little bit later. They're gonna be revving up their engines out front as they send off to our friend as he leaves the show a little bit later today. So. Well, hey, welcome back in, everybody, as we continue on. A beautiful day here in Huntsville. A little rainy day today. 50% chance of rain and not really thunderstorms, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But a high of 81. We'll get down to just 64. It's been balmy outside. In fact, yesterday, another high temperature here in Huntsville for November. Record high temperature in Huntsville. And we don't really see any signs of things cooling off much until Wednesday night when we get down to 39 And then Thanksgiving Day, how about this? A little gobble. I don't like when people say Turkey Day, though. I don't like. I'm not a cliche type person, Terry. I just never have been. I don't know. But anyways, Thanksgiving Day, because some people don't eat the turkey. It's Thanksgiving, not turkeys. Sunny and a high of 61. So there you go. We'll have a little bit of it. Well, look, check this out. In 3, 2. Oh, wait. Where are you at, Terry? Look at that.
I don't know.
I go to live video and you don't even show up. Well, that's really strange. I've never had this happen. Boy, I'm telling you, it's just one of those weird days today, you know. Let me try something here. This is pretty funny. It's a live production. So we'll end this. Let's stop this real quick. We've had a glitch on the system. Give us a second. I promise we'll be right back. We've had a rare glitch on the system this morning. So give us 1 second. We'll be right back. The audio's still there, Terry. We just can't see us. Go, Terry. We're back. So that was really weird. It just decided to take an old lockup on me. So we are back live, ready to roll here this morning. Terry Coleman, our real estate expert. I was joking with Reverend Power. I said this is produced by Third Rate Productions. We're moving down to Fourth Rate Production. So joining us, our real estate expert. Always so much fun to have you on, Miss Terry. How have you been? Good to see you, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've been doing well.
What's
In fact, I was just saying that I got here a little bit early, and man, I've already been blessed this morning between listening to you guys talk this morning with Reverend over here.
I was telling
him. Blessing.
I was telling him, see that brick, that wall, you can tell it's been patched up a couple of times. There's only been one time I've ever ran through that, and this morning I'm going to after this show. So, well, Terry is here. We call real estate expert for a reason, and it's because she's been in this area. She knows this area better than anyone. You know, more than 3 decades. Sir, I don't know how because you're only 28 years old, but more than 3 decades serving Walker County and the surrounding areas. We'll talk real estate in a moment, but I always just like to catch up with you. It's been a couple of weeks since you've been on. What's going on in the world of Terry Coleman?
Well, let's see. My son is coming in from North Carolina and bringing his girlfriend for Thanksgiving, so that's always a big thing. And so things are buzzing at my home, making sure everything's just perfect. Everything's dusted and polished and all to make a good impression on the girlfriend. So that's been going on. And then just doing real estate work. It's a busy time right now. So
awesome. Well, I do want to dig into the real estate. That's one reason, the main reason we have is because you're a friend and we like to catch up with you. The second reason is because we want to know what's going on in the real estate world. And like I said, Terry knows this better than anyone. We're seeing some prices come down right now. Maybe highlight that a little bit to get started.
Prices are really coming down. So if you're even on the fence thinking about buying a house, now's the time to do it. Prices are down all across the board. Really, it doesn't really matter which subdivision you want to be in. Here in Huntsville, prices have dropped.
We were talking about K. Hovnanian Homes a while ago. That beautiful neighborhood, those prices have came down.
K. Hovnanian Homes has done a big slash on theirs because it's the end of the year. They want to get the inventory sold. So go by, see Jackie, tell her that Terry sent you. That way you'll get a bigger slash. That's not really true, but but don't forget to say Terry sent me. And that's a brand new house. I mean, And you can actually get into one of those homes right now before the holidays.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know?
I was talking about that neighborhood a while back. I know you're going to highlight another neighborhood here in a moment, but those homes out there, and this is the Reserves at Huntsville, and we're going to have them back on the show here before too long, but they're out there off 30, and and there's also right down the street, you think about a neighborhood, and then right down the street they just built those beautiful new apartment homes as well.
Yes.
But if you're looking to move into a single family home, I mean, my goodness, those homes, the first time I walked in, my jaw dropped because I thought I was in a custom home. And they have that feel. They're not your typical cookie cutter homes. They are beautiful. I told
You're
Bridget,
exactly right.
I said we ought to sell our house and move out. Get Terry to buy us one out here. and not, I mean, you heard what I said. Get Terry to buy us
Yeah,
one.
I caught that, but I was just going to let it slide.
But no,
They are beautiful.
There's so many other opportunities too, around this area.
And then also, too, at Cape Onion Homes, they also have their own financing. So you can get a little less interest rate by going through their own financing
Nice.
company. So they kind of have a good package out there. But also, Rockbridge, which is a D.R. Horton subdivision. Now, I've got a listing out there that's going to be an investor dream.
Is this across from AOA?
Yep.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yep, it is. So it's only about 5 years old. So it's still a new neighborhood. The homes out there are new, great family neighborhood. But this particular property that I have listed, we've listed it for $20,000 under market value.
Wow.
There's some situations why it needs to get sold quickly, and so we've got it $20,000 under. It's going to be a great property for a new buyer or even an investor. If an investor wanted to buy that property and use it as a rent property, rents out there are $1,800 to $2,000 a month.
Good night.
So
That's
a great
good.
investment.
That's good. Yeah.
Yep, so.
I was
Call me.
thinking we were renting our house at Elkins for just barely above that a few years ago, and that's great for an investor. That is a good thing. A friend of mine has a couple of homes here in town that he rents out. He is plus about $600 a month on those rents right now. I said,
Tell
"Man,
that friend to call me.
Yeah.
We can set him up with another rental home.
we can get him some more. Yeah,
That's
get him
right.
going.
So, but no, that's going to be a good one because it's not a fixer-upper. It's ready to go, brand new. So,
I don't think people, a lot of folks that maybe are moving here don't realize all of these neighborhoods, that we have here in Huntsville. You talked about Cavnadian Homes there at the Reserves at Huntsville and Rock Bridge, and another neighborhood.
Spring Lake. I try to feature a neighborhood every time I'm on, and I've done a bunch of them, but I don't think I've talked about Spring Lake.
No, we haven't.
Spring Lake is a very nice neighborhood. It's I hate to say it's an older neighborhood because it's really not, because Stylecraft Homes bought quite a bit of the land in Spring Lake, and so they've opened up, and so Stylecraft's so you've got your newer homes there, but you also have your more established solid rock, older type homes. And so you've got kind of a variety. If you like a new home, there you go, Stylecraft. If you like the older homes, they have them too. There's only now, and houses don't come on the market much out there at Spring Lake. I mean, because that lake is beautiful, and it's one that has fish in it.
Is this
Lots
out
of
of
big
past
fish.
Montgomery, like go down Veterans Memorial and all? Is this what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, I know. Okay,
Yeah.
I know where you're
It's
at.
right there to the left. So when you're coming down Montgomery, you're going to cross over Veterans, and it's going to be just right there on the left hand side of Spring Lake. So it's beautiful. Or you can hit Spring Lake by turning on Veterans going towards Elkins, and then when you see the road Daisy, which is there by the fire department, you're turning into Spring Lake there, but you just don't have the neighborhood sign.
But the best, well, no, they're not. They better not. If not, they better go try this today, because one of the best hamburgers in the area is right around the corner from that neighborhood, and it's at our friends at Smiley's. I go there once a week. They have a little restaurant in there, and I never thought that I would fall in love with a convenience store burger, but I'm telling you what, that place is clean. They have a beautiful sitting area.
Yep.
I go in there and eat burgers once a week at Smiley's.
Yeah,
So,
they are good.
So go
They
buy the
are good.
house and then go
That's
eat at
right,
Smiley's.
and then go to Smiley's.
Terry will buy. I guarantee Terry, I'll buy you a burger at Smiley's. if you get a
That's
house
right,
with
we
Terry.
will
Yeah.
if you buy the house. But Spring Lake's a nice neighborhood. It's a nice family neighborhood. The lake is beautiful. Anyone that lives in Spring Lake can fish in the lake. It's just a good community. But homes don't come on the market there. Right now there's 4 houses. 2 of them are Stylecraft homes, and then there's 2 that are not Stylecraft homes. But so you got a little bit of variety. So 4 houses.
Awesome. Well, we'll put that up on the website a little bit later. Again, beautiful, beautiful area here in Huntsville. And, that's one thing, too, Terry, that I love about this area is the scenery. Almost anywhere you go is so nice here in Huntsville. And I just hope that as we continue to build that they'll, keep some of the trees up. And they're doing that, and even out there at the reserves at Huntsville, they've replanted a lot. And so once that grows, it's going to continue to be beautiful. A lot of neighborhoods come in, they don't plant things. They came in, obviously they had to clear the land to put in the homes and to do the, with the water and all that kind of stuff. I don't understand how that works, but I know that they've got to do that for the runoff. But they went in and planted trees back, and that's going to be beautiful, in the next 5-10 years. So this just, how could you want to live anywhere else?
That's right. I don't know. Well, even the Reverend said he wasn't living anywhere else. That this was it.
That was
home.
it. Yeah. So.
Yep. And I agree with what the Reverend said. This is just still a home community, hometown community. So even though it's growing, it's still that.
It still has it, yeah. Well, I feel like too, Terry. I keep up with a little bit just from what you tell me, and then every once in a while I may hear something on the news. I don't watch the news a whole lot, but I've heard that prices are continuing to come down. It depends on which news you watch, but then I go fact check stuff, and the reality is inflation is going down and costs are coming down. I've seen it, at the gas pump, and the other Smiley's that was just renovated, that just reopened, and they got gas right now at $2.39, and so things are starting to ease up a little bit. I know it's hard for families. I've got 2 children, so it's hard to see that, but I know that it's happening. Does that affect home buying? I mean, what is the inventory? Those kind of things.
Of course, it always affects. The price of goods always affects the price of homes. But yeah, everything's going down. Inventory's up. The more and more sellers are putting their homes on the market, so inventory's up. It's the best time to buy. It really is. So especially if you want to spend Christmas in your new home. Interest rates are steady. I mean, they haven't. Interest rates. In fact, I was just talking to a mortgage person yesterday, and she said always right about this time they do a little bump up. So we've seen a little bump up, but after the first of the year they'll start coming down a little bit more. But what's happening is it's kind of a crossways. So interest rates have bumped a little bit, not a lot. I mean, we're still at 6.5. You can do 5.5 if your credit's good. So it's really been kind of around that 5 to 6.5 now for a long time. It's just we did a little bump, but by doing a little bump, property prices have come down. So, it cancels out.
I've always said any time is a good time to buy a home. I mean, really, unless it was in the 1980s when and y'all bought one during that time.
Yes, 14% interest.
Oh man,
Yes.
you were like, yes, we got it at 14. The guy down the street got it at 15. We beat him, But I really do mean that, and I want to encourage, especially young people, if you're watching this morning, that's the best investment I ever made was buying a home. And I had one naysayer. He told me, he said, he goes, you're in no position to do that. He goes, that's going to put so much stress on you. And I'm glad I didn't listen to him because I did it, and it became a savings account for our family. And after 14 years of living in that home, we built up really good equity, especially with the cost of things going up, in the housing world, and walked out of that 14 years later, with a nice sell price. I wish I could have sold it for what the guy flipped it for. That would have been nice. I bought that home for, just to let you know, I bought that home for $114,000 on 3/4 of an acre in Georgetown in a highly sought after neighborhood called Serenata. Beautiful neighborhood. $114 in 06. All right, I sold it for $268, which sounds, pretty good. And I've been paying on it a while. Well, guess what? The guy that bought it from me flipped it. You know what he sold it for?
$500.
$415. And I was like, man, come on. What did he do? Just put a little paint on the wall? And then but he did. He had a lot of work that he had to do on it. But I say all this for a reason, that when I looked back at it, those 14 years, it was almost like I lived rent-free when I sold that house. It was almost like I didn't pay to live there because what I had paid into it, I got back a little bit more than that. And I was able to take that money And then eventually, come here to Huntsville. We put a down payment on a vehicle, but then I saved a big chunk of that, and that's how we were able to buy a home out at Elkins. If I didn't have that money down, there's no way I would have been able to live out there. And so our mortgage payment, what I was paying in Georgetown, it's a little bit more, but it's not that much more. And we, when we moved here, we got a nice upgrade.
Right.
And a newer home that I don't have to worry about, well, how am I going to fix this? How am I? When I moved into my house, the AC was 30 years old. And and this was back in the day, Terry. I'm not an AC expert, but why do you put the condenser and all the electrical, or why do you put all the electrical under the, what's the thing? The coil. So what happens to the coil in AC? It freezes up. What happens on older units? They spill over. Why would you put the coil above the electrical components? They did it back then. One morning I wake up and things were smoking. So anyways, that's my story on that.
That's your story.
And I say that for a reason. When you buy a home, yes, you'll have a home inspector, but it's also critical that I believe that you know a little bit about what to look for as well.
Exactly.
Because the home inspector is not required to do some things. I went through home inspection school. They're not required to get under an AC and take the vents off and look up into the air return. If I would have did that in this home, I would have seen that there was already flood damage in the past where this thing had clogged up, and it was nasty under there. If I would have taken that extra step, I would have been able to see that. I would have been able to see that there's considerable damage with this AC unit, because my inspector, and it's nothing on them, they just did what they were required to do. But they didn't flag that unit as a bad unit.
Right. And then that would have given you negotiating power whenever you bought the property.
Within 2 weeks, when I moved into the home, I noticed the wall behind where the washing machine was. I noticed that it was kind of damp. That's something that a home inspector is not going to catch all the time.
Right.
I'm not going to harp them for that. They did a great job. But I'm back there, and I said, why is this damp? I literally, Terry, my hand went through the wall. There was old T-shirts wrapped around pipes hidden behind that wall.
Oh my gosh!
And so I ended up having to fix that. And someone decided, well, it's got a little bit of a sweat problem. It was leaking, and that thing had probably been leaking for 30 years. Somebody, Joe homeowner, thought that it would be cool to wrap a T-shirt around it and call it. No idea why. So what I'm saying is, when you buy a home, get a real estate expert like Terry Coleman, because Terry's been doing it. She doesn't just go in and sell the home. She's not a home inspector, but she's going to see some things, and if she notices them, she's going to say, hey, that's going to be useful for price negotiation.
Exactly. And then I'll be able to connect you with a good inspector as well. We've got certain ones that I like to use, and I know what they're going to look for. And then if we see anything, we just, say something to the inspector. Hey, be sure and check this out. So, no, I hold your hand all the way through.
She does.
So.
Well, hey, give her a call. You can go to myrealtorterry.com is the website, myrealtorterry.com for more information. We'll put more information up on our guides and features under our real estate experts as well. Well, Terry, you know what I'm about to ask in a moment.
I know.
But before that, anything else that you wanted to add to it?
Just give me a call, especially if you're an investor. I've got some other properties coming up that probably won't go on HAR, which is the real estate website that all realtors put their information on. So I've got some pocket listings that are going to be good for investors, and so call me.
Yeah, and here's my encouragement. How many of you have said, boy, I wish I would have did that? 2010 Bitcoin, that was me. But I've also had a lot of real estate opportunities as well. And one of them that I so regret that I should have did years ago, we had a chance to buy a lot that already had 4 little houses, little small houses, right downtown Georgetown, 1 block off the square. The Methodist church was selling it $120,000.
Boy, you messed up.
Messed up big time. And I told my brother, I said, we ought to figure out a way to get the money and do this. And I guarantee if you put your mind to it, you're going to find a way.
You'll
to do
figure it out.
And we didn't do it. And that property now is valued at about 3.5. And you just wish. So my encouragement is, if you drive by something and you're like, man, I should do that. Do you know what? First start praying about that. But look into that, because you never want to look back and say, boy, I sure regret that.
And prices are just going to keep going up. Now, like right now, we've had a price drop, but we haven't had a major drop. And to go with your story, my home that I paid 14% interest, I bought that in '88 for $40,000. You know
Wow.
how much that house sold for last year?
Probably $500,000.
No, it was in Forest Hills.
Oh, wow.
It sold for $218,000.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, real estate's is a great investment. It's
Yeah.
never going to go back down to 40,000 again.
Yeah.
You know, so
I remember
it's always going to keep growing, and even at 14% interest.
my parents, when they built their home in Georgetown, it was funny, and it's a smaller home. It's 1,200 square feet. It's big enough for us. My sister used to give me a hard time because it was 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I have 2 siblings, and my sister one time said, you know, there's a reason that Mom and Dad only built 2 bedrooms and not an extra one. She was giving me a hard time, you know, because they had theirs and there was only 2. It was a fun joke she had with me. But what I'm getting at is I remember my mom telling me a story that they were looking, and this was on 2 acres, $3,000 for 2 acres. All right.
Wow.
And she goes, but you know, by the time we finally got everything rolling, it went up to $5,000. I'm like, boy, I wish that it would be like that. And I remember my dad their mortgage payment, and they paid the house off early. Their mortgage payment was like $317 a month. And that was everything, all in. Can we get back to those days?
Oh, I would love to get back to those days. I would be the investor going out buying.
Yeah. Well, Terry, it's again, Terry Coleman, our real estate expert. Terry, my other favorite part of this segment, it is time. It's Terry's time to shine. We don't have a cool graphic intro. We'll do that next time.
Okay, good.
But it is Terry's.
If the Reverend got a graphic, I want a graphic.
Well, you need one, yeah. Terry always shows up with different jewelry. What do you have on for us today?
Well, I have this lapis necklace. It's all, it's real lapis.
Oh, wow. Can I see that?
It's not polished, and it came from my aunt who lived in Brazil. So this whole thing
Wow.
is all lapis.
That's heavy too. That's beautiful. Look at that. How that. I mean, it's transparent.
Oh, you know what? It's not lapis, because lapis is blue.
Well, it's
Which one's purple?
I have no idea.
Amethyst.
Amethyst, okay.
That's it. Amethyst.
Look how the light shines
Yeah.
through that, Terry.
And so my friend at Classic Collectibles, Diane Leggett, gave me this for Christmas one year, gave me this amethyst ring.
Wow.
But the one I love the most is the one that I've only worn once here, and that is my widow's mite bracelet that we got in Israel.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
one, so it's the widow's mite. I'm sure you know, Reverend, the Mark 12, verse 41 talks about the widow's mite in the Bible and where that came from. And when we went to Israel, it was probably one of the better trips we've ever taken. They always say you have your aha moment in Israel, and I had mine, and I just wanted to come home with a widow's mite bracelet. So I did.
I love that. Well, Terry, if y'all are new watching us, Terry always is our real estate expert. But I don't know how it started. You were wearing some beautiful jewelry, I don't know, a year or two ago, and we started talking about it. And then the next time you came, I noticed you had on something different, and it just turned into this.
It became a thing.
And so now it's a
Yes.
thing. Every time she comes on, she has on different.
As a matter of fact, Max last night when I was getting all my stuff ready and all, he said, "What jewelry are you going to wear tomorrow?" So even he knows. I said, "Well, I don't know. I got to figure that out."
Yeah.
So.
Well, all right. Well, there you go. General Glazer joining us, by the way, saying good info. Thank you, Terry. He's
Thank
with
you.
the university. Great man. We appreciate you, General Glazer, joining us, and many others as well. So thank y'all. And Terry, thank you. This is very important information. So.
Well, thank you. I always enjoy coming on here and letting everyone know what's happening in Huntsville in the real estate business.
You bet. Hey, by the way, happy Thanksgiving. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm cooking.
Oh, all right. We'll see you.
So,
What time?
Yeah, we have 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
We'll be in Magnolia. So, well, happy Thanksgiving to you and
Thank
Max
you.
and
You
y'all's
too.
family.
You too.
Well, we'll take a break. We'll be back. Get ready. Rev up your engines because we're going to keep this thing rolling. We'll be right back in a moment. It's your show. It says, Good Morning Huntsville. We are here on a very, very faithful Friday. As always, brought to you by Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We'll be back after this. Stay with us, please.
Hey friends, this is Rob Hipp, and I'm here to talk about a true expert in the real estate world, let me introduce you to my good friend Terry Coleman of the Coleman Realty Group.
With 33 years in the business, I've dedicated my life to making your real estate dreams come true. Specializing in residential properties, I serve Walker and Montgomery counties, from Spring to Trinity and areas all around.
They call her your next door agent, and here's why.
I'm not just here to help you find a home or lease a property. I'm here to build lifelong relationships. Whether it's residential or commercial, farm or ranch listings, there's something for everyone.
Now you might wonder, what sets Terry apart from other real estate agents? Well, it's simple. She goes above and beyond for her clients, like the time she surprised a family from California with a fully decorated Christmas tree and gifts when they returned from closing. You shouldn't have to compromise on the joys of home during life-changing moments. So, if you're ready to make your real estate dreams come true, here's what you need to do.
Visit my website at myrealtorterry.com and let's make those dreams a reality.
That's Terry Coleman, your expert in all things real estate.
I'm Terry Coleman, your next door agent, and I can't wait to help you open the door to your new life.
At Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, we're not just a place where children pass the time. We are not a daycare. We are a child care center focused on the growth, learning, and discovery. Every day, children engage in meaningful activities that build confidence, independence, and a love for learning. From reading and math to social and practical life skills, our students are active participants in their development. Ready to give your child something more? Visit tomorrowspromise.info and discover what makes our school different. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. Education you can trust.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
You know, Billy's going to get mad at me because he doesn't have an intro, Reverend. But
we could have a lot of fun with an infographic with Billy. I mean, a lot of fun.
We were working on one, and we had one that we were working on, and I've got to get it. But we AI'd Billy, and it was brown, and he's in overalls, and he has, like a stick of weed out of his mouth, and there's children sitting around him, and it goes. And it was a segment we want to do called, "Let me tell you about the Huntsville I grew up in." And we just haven't gotten around to doing that one yet.
Oh, you've got to do that. You've got to do that.
Well, a great information there a few moments ago from Terry Coleman, our real estate expert, and Reverend Powers is back with us now from Christ the King Methodist Church. Reverend, we've talked a lot this morning, a lot of information on real estate, a lot about just faith and things as well. And here we are, a season of gratitude. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. I just kind of wanted you to highlight, what Thanksgiving means to you and the church there, on a personal level. I know it's an important time for families to come together.
It is. So our family traditionally has had a very relaxed approach to Thanksgiving. We would come together. We usually met at Julie's parents' house in Baytown, and it was food and football, and it was just the best.
You got a go-to team?
The Aggies.
Okay, there you
for
go.
Sure, because most of our family is Aggies. Now, I'm a Horned Frog, TCU.
Okay.
And the great thing about being a TCU fan is we're so accustomed to losing that it doesn't bother us. So when we have a good year and we win, we're excited. When we lose, we go, TCU. We live with it.
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I know.
Okay. You understand.
I know
you understand that feeling.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So anyway, it's always been relaxed. Well, we've gone through a season like a lot of families our age where Julie's mom and dad have passed away, and, of course, we had lost John. And so our family's gone from this big group to we're much smaller. And so Julie and I are learning how to do what a lot of people have to learn to do at the holidays is we have to do them differently now.
Yeah.
And so what we've done since we've come here is with my work being on a Sunday, it's kind of hard for us to get to Rapid City to be with the grandkids.
Oh, yeah. That's just a 2-hour drive,
Just a 2-hour. Well,
Yeah, right.
if Julie's driving, yes. If I'm driving, no. But the last couple of Thanksgivings, we just said, well, what do we want to do? And so we would just, we go ahead and cook the full meal because because I like the full meal and Julie's willing to do that. We watch football. We keep that tradition. It's not the same, but it's still good. And I guess what we've learned is that when families change through death, and for some families it's divorce, and for some families it's relocation, there's still a reason to be thankful. And so we're looking forward to a great day together of food and football, and we'll Zoom with the grandkids and see them on Thanksgiving that way. And so that's
Our pastor was talking here at first this Sunday. We had a sermon on gratitude, and and it really, we get so wrapped up in our own world, Reverend, that, and you know this, I mean, you've been in ministry a long time, and because you talk to people, and it's a whole different ball game, because when you're in ministry, you get into the thick of things with what people are going through.
That's true.
And that just comes with the job, and it's important because people need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, gratitude, and boy, I've really tried hard to find it. I don't want to say this the wrong way, but I've really tried hard to not allow myself to get beat up over small things, to be thankful for even the smallest of things. Thankful that I could bend over and put on my shoes this morning, because some people can't do that. And when I do Sunday announcements this past Sunday, I said, how many of you made it to church today? And of course, everybody raised their hand. And I said, that's something to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Because there's people that can't get up and can't move around. And he alluded to talking about Thanksgiving. And he talked about how, early on the table's huge and all the chairs are filled. But as time goes on, and you don't really notice it when the chairs are filled, right?
Right.
But as time goes on, those chairs become empty, and then you start to notice, and it's this cycle. And so it really did remind me to be thankful and to have gratitude and to be thankful for all that the Lord has blessed us with, the smallest of things that we take for granted. And that's my encouragement this morning, for folks as we lead into this season, to be reminded about what you're thankful for.
It's a good reminder. It's and I'm sure you've done this. I'm sure your pastor has done this. But when we're working with someone who's really down, and really struggling to find any light, is to help them form a gratitude list. And sometimes it's as simple as, if they're in my office, to say, well, did you wear clothing today? And they look at me like I'm an idiot. And I'm like, you have clothing. That puts you above some people. So let's start your gratitude list there.
Well, I forgot. Let me take my shirt off.
There you go. I guess when you go radio, you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
But you start at the most basic. And sometimes you have to will yourself through it. You need to sit down and say, I'm going to make a list of 10 things I'm grateful for. I'm just going to make myself do it. I have never seen it fail that somebody can do that and then find a way to go ahead and get started with the day. And you said something with Terry that reminded me of some things. You were talking about buying a house, and you had one naysayer that said, don't do that, you'll regret it. I think naysayers get way too much attention.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I see it in churches. I see it. There's always somebody that's going to find that gray cloud in the silver lining. I had a mentor that told me one time, we were fighting some negative people together in church, and he said, never let negative people keep you from taking positive action.
Wow.
The price of not trying is so much higher than trying and sometimes failing. Buying a house, starting a business. And so I just am thankful to have served with people that have such a positive outlook and have taught me to find the way to make it work and find the possibilities, and not let the naysayers have the veto power to keep you from going forward.
Boy, that's good. That's good. And I've always said it's the 1% it's kind of a flip script, because the Bible talks about Jesus going after the one. And that's important. Absolutely. Go for the one if that one is straight. But then in a worldly sense, I ignore the 1%, because the 1% will bring you down. But the only one that we should be listening to is Jesus Christ. And I want to encourage people this morning to seek that, because, you may be going through the darkest pit. And this is something else that I wanted to mention, Reverend, before we sign off here in just a few moments. this is a time of joy for so many people, but it's also a time of pain and sorrow for many people. And I always encourage people, be mindful around this time of the year. Be mindful of those around Thanksgiving who have lost loved ones, and around Christmas. Be mindful of that, and just love on people and support them and let them know that you're there for them. Sometimes all people need, and that's what I love about Huntsville.
Yeah.
Sometimes all people need is just a hug and somebody to say, hey, you know what, I'm thinking of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can tell people in Huntsville you love them. They don't care.
No, they're great. If you're having a bad day, go to HEB, grab a cart, walk down every aisle, and smile the whole time. You'll have more conversations with people who will just smile back at you and talk about anything. I mean, that's what Huntsville is like.
I like it.
You can get out and do that.
I'm going to do that today for about 3 hours with an empty cart. And
then
I'm going to walk out with an empty cart. Hey,
well, I had a great time. It's free therapy.
Yeah, they're like, boy, you look happy. Yeah, I didn't spend anything. Well, Reverend, thanks so much. Give us an update, kind of how folks can connect with you guys over at Christ the King, for Thanksgiving, those kind of things. What's going on, and we'll end with that. But give us some updates on how they can connect with you.
Well, we have 2 services. We have a traditional service at 9 and a contemporary service at 11 with Sunday school in between. I'm going to freeze up on my email or on my web address now. And
we'll find it. You just keep talking.
Because Sabrina Hendricks is watching this, and she is going to be absolutely unhappy with me that I can't. It's ctkmc.
No. You
got it.
Oh, look. Is this right?
That's right.
Huntsville, ctkmethodist.org.
ctkmethodist.org.
Yeah, Huntsville.
This is why I like to work with a professional like you.
Well,
you know how to do this.
Well, no, you knew what it was, but you were asking me to look. You just needed me to look for it.
There you go. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. So you can find us on the website, and even if you never came to church with us, if you want to feed hungry people, build beds for kids who are sleeping on the floor, we'd love to be in ministry with you, whether you worship with us or not.
My question I've always had is the lake out there stocked?
It's not. It's got fish in it.
Okay.
We out and fish.
Do they really?
They do.
How cool is that?
I was asking, can we just kind of promote that as we're the only youth group that you can come out at youth and fish? And apparently, for insurance reasons, we can't promote the naysayers, right? The water's probably about knee deep. We're worried about somebody getting hurt, but yeah, we've got a lake out there. It's absolutely a beautiful place to sit and pray.
That is so beautiful, and here again is God's faithfulness and His timing. When the opportunity came. And this had been such a beautiful event venue for so long, but then look how it's turned and been used for God's purpose now.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to mention one last thing. I know I always say that, but I do have one last thing. Reverend, I was talking to somebody probably about 2 months ago or a month ago, and he said, we're in such need of a revival here in this country. And I kind of looked at him, because I agree, revivals are good, but I looked at him and I said, brother, where have you been? We are in the midst of a revival.
We are.
I saw this I don't watch a lot of those award shows on TV and all that, but every one of those CMA artists, Country Music Association, they got up there and they were all getting awards. And I don't know of a one, and I'm sure there was, but I wasn't paying attention to the naysayer, I guess. But it seems like every single one of those folks that won awards, the first thing they said is, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We are seeing that in mainstream media. In fact, yesterday I posted a video with my mentor. I wish he was my mentor. Let me rephrase it. My role model of all time, none other than the great David Robinson of the San Antonio Spurs. And he is a minister, after he got out of the NBA, he's in the ministry. Mm-hmm. But they had just voted in San Antonio to build a new sports complex. They're going to move the Spurs from outside of the town in the old barn that they've been in for 20 years.
Yep.
They're moving them back downtown to Hemisphere Arena. It's going to be, Hemisphere, they're beautiful, whole new. Here's what, I'm going to try to play the audio real quick, but listen to this.
Everything. The Bible says, without vision, for a lack of vision, my people perish. And we can't just survive. We've got to think ahead. We've got to plan for the future. How are we going to bring people together?
He's talking about, he's sitting here he's speaking at a event to open up the announcement about this vote passing that they're going to build this a new arena. But it sounds like he's preaching a sermon. We are seeing this everywhere, Reverend.
We are. The prophet Isaiah says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it?" And I've gotten to a point now when we watch the news, even the stuff that looks bad is something God is using to bring about this revival we're talking about. We see people get elected thinking, how on earth could that person have gotten elected? I don't know, but I wonder what God's going to do with that. So even when the news is bad, we don't have to get discouraged. We can just look at it and say, God is doing something here. God can use the bad stuff and the good stuff, but something's changing. I think we're seeing it with Gen Z in particular. There's a hunger for authentic faith. They don't want to be entertained. They want to be transformed, and then they want to transform their communities. And I sincerely believe you and I are going to get to be a part of it, but don't take this wrong, given our age, we might be more on the sidelines watching and cheering.
I'd love to watch and cheer.
But I'm looking forward to seeing what God does with these younger generations.
Amen. Well, I agree to that. What a great way to wrap it up. Pat, Reverend, appreciate you for being here today. What a fun day. And thank you for filling in for Billy. It's been
it was
great.
my pleasure. It was my pleasure. And James, congratulations on graduating fire school. We're proud of you, and you're going to serve the community well.
That's right. We said a prayer for James, and he passed his test yesterday.
Yeah.
That's why Billy's not here. And James, today, at 11 o'clock this morning, will be receiving his graduation from the Teeks Fire Academy. And if you'd like to support Billy and his family and James, you can watch that online at 11 a.m., the graduation ceremony, teeks.org/graduation. That's TEEX.org/graduation. So, well, Reverend, God bless you, my friend, and we're excited about what the Lord's doing here in this community.
Yes.
And I want to encourage, just like Reverend Powers and several churches have done, let's continue to come together as one body of Christ. I'm so excited about what the Lord is doing here, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds, my friend.
Same here, Rob. Thank you so much for having me on.
You bet. God bless you.
Bless you too.
Well, friends, that'll wrap it up, and I hope all of you have a very wonderful and blessed weekend. And remember this, as we head in, especially to this Thanksgiving season, that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We're really not. We do need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there today needs you. Until next time, have a blessed weekend. We'll be back Monday. Join us at 7:30. So long. Good morning, and God bless. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, everyone. See you, Reverend.
Take care.